Hey, welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be covering a hero that his name is Comet Commando. And, as I had said in, literally in the past 3 videos, some of these heroes I've, have some idea of background and powers and abilities, and other ones I have absolutely no idea. When it comes to the hydrogen hero, he was just a super rushed character that was just one of those things to help kind of keep up with the commitment that I had made of, doing a hero every day. It was like, all right, let's just crank something out just to crank something out. Whereas with like this hero, today's hero, the Comet Commando, I had a little more in mind when it comes to backstory and development and stuff like that. So I will have to admit that I enjoyed doing this character a little bit more than I did the past, 3 heroes. But anyway, let's get into kind of his backstory and redesign first here. But as you can see from this original doodle, this is kind of the idea that I wanted. And to be honest, he didn't really change much over the 10 years. So yeah, I mean, as I literally just said, not a whole lot changed with him. I did really enjoy kind of the design that I had given him, and didn't really want to change much aside from just kind of refining the design a little bit, going from a 2 to 3 minute sketch to something a little more with some time dedicated and stuff, but kept a lot of his design and kind of the overall costume look and stuff like that. So yeah, really really the only thing that I had to really consider or think about, I guess would be the word to use, was just kind of what kind of colors I'd want to use for this character. And so that was really about the only thing, I had to kind of think about as I was doing this character. Other than that, majority of it, he kind of looked about the same. So I did want to do like really hard red beams. And so I was just like, well, due to the fact how harsh and red, I wanted to keep kind of his costume a little more on the desaturated side so that, a lot of the fun focus would be on his power beams that he emits. And so, I kept the metal kind of look, and then with his jeans and pants and the rest of his costume, I kind of did like a dark gray, warm gray that, wouldn't compete visually with the beams that he emits from his hands. So but yeah, had a lot of fun just kind of redoing him. It was just fun to just redraw him, in essence, to just take him up to a refined level rather than him being just this quick drawing that I did years ago. Now he's got some a little more refinement to him. So but yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at his final look here. So once again, based off the original doodle that I did, very little changed. So yeah, there is the Comet Commando. So let's go ahead and dive into his backstory as well as his powers and abilities. So once again, his name is Comet Commando. Daniel Dervon was a recruit from the Army Rangers who was selected to join the Titan Initiative. The project he was assigned to attempted to replicate the abilities of Starboy. Now, Starboy is a hero that I've done a video for many, many years ago. Well, I should say it was probably like 5 or 6 years ago, but he's just another hero. So specifically, the power to open portals across the universe to emit energy beams or even summon celestial objects such as comets. This effort, later designated Project Doorway, eventually saw success due in part to Starboy's assistance. The government developed a suit intended to perfectly emulate Starboy's abilities, but unfortunately, the only stable components produced were the gloves. So yeah, once again, in kind of conjunction with Starboy himself, the government was trying to develop or replicate these abilities that Starboy had, and which was the ability to summon or create portals or doorways that one could emit powerful blasts of energy or summon celestial objects. This is kind of some of the stuff that Starboy can do inherently due to his abilities, but the government was obviously trying to replicate that for other heroes. But the only thing that they were able to really successfully duplicate were just the gloves. So despite this limitation, Daniel joined the Galactic Guardians through the Guardian Initiative, a cooperative program established between Earth and the Guardians. He now works closely with Cosmic Cadet as a trainee, refining his skills and learning to wield the portal-based abilities granted by the prototype gloves. So, once again, really, he puts on these gloves, and with these gloves, he's able to, once again, in part, replicate Starboy's abilities. So he can, and we'll get more into it, I guess, with his powers and abilities. So, his real name is Daniel Dervon, and he's about a little over 6 feet tall and weighs about 210 pounds. So, his powers and abilities. Daniel, or the Comet Commando, possesses extraordinary abilities thanks to the assistance of Starboy. The gloves he wears have the ability to open miniature portals in space, allowing him to summon comets, solar flares, stellar energies, or even gravitational power of the black hole's event horizon. Through extensive training, Daniel learned to harness and control incredibly powerful forces with precision. The team at Project Doorway, with Starboy's help, later developed a specialized helmet that you see him wearing that enables the Comet Commando to concisely choose what he wants to summon, rather than relying on random outcomes. This helmet, combined with his suit, also allows Daniel to travel through space without succumbing to its harsh and deadly conditions. So, once again, in summary, the gloves that he wears can emit or create these little doorways into areas in the galaxy or the universe that allow him to, emit powerful beams or summon comets, or even, in essence, kind of create gravitational anomalies through these abilities. So, and with that in mind, the project also created this helmet that allows him to better, control what he summons. Whereas earlier in his superhero career, he would, try to summon something and he'd get, something random rather than what he wanted. And so, with the help of Starboy, they found where these portals would open, and Starboy kind of helped him, like, all right, let's open them here rather than here, and all that kind of stuff. So, but anywho, looking at his stats, his strength is, kind of an average human. He isn't overly super strong, but his durability is a little bit on the higher end as a result of the suit that the Project Doorway built for him. His stamina is, on par with an average human, obviously who's been trained as a specialized, soldier like the Army Rangers. His strength and stamina are, peak human abilities, but nevertheless nothing heroic or overly super about them. But his power projection is on an extremely higher level. His intelligence, once again, due to his training, he's a little on the above average intelligence for humans, but again, nothing hugely out of the realm of normal human abilities. And then as well as his speed is increased as a result of him being able to manipulate these interstellar anomalies. He can create a black hole, or summon the gravitational anomalies of an event horizon, and allow him to thrust himself through the sky or through space or whatever. And so with that ability, he can kind of manipulate gravity a little bit to make him move faster or slower or any of those numbers. So he does have the ability to move a little bit faster. And then once again, like I said earlier, his durability is a little higher as a result of the suit that he wears. So in essence, from his power stats, it's mostly his speed and power projection that make him a formidable hero. So, but yeah, once again, that is the Comet Commando. And yeah, had a lot of fun doing him as well. He was, once again, one of the few heroes that, well, I won't say one of the few heroes, but one of the heroes that I actually had, a little bit more insight or concept of his background story and powers and abilities. So he was a little easier to do than some of the others. But anyway, yeah, that's Comet Commando, and we'll catch you in the next video.